Operation Epic Fury.
Iran tried to pull the oldest regime trick in the book. Tehran pushed the lie that inspectors were out. Donald Trump snapped back with 8 words that blew the whole game apart. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. And there it is. No Obama fog, no Biden weakness, no secret side deal garbage. Trump has Iran back at the table in Doha, Qatar after the strikes, and now the Ayatollahs want talks on America's terms. Denuclearization, inspections, and no nuclear weapon. The same media machine that screamed war now has to explain why the humbled enemy came asking, and that explanation gets ugly, very ugly for them. And this matters because the Strait of Hormuz, it's not an abstract foreign policy seminar for the Obama-Biden think tank class. It's your gas bill, it's your grocery bill. It's whether American families get hammered every time a terror regime rattles a missile. Before the pressure campaign bit deep, shipping through Hormuz dropped from 100 ships a day to 39 after the strikes. Then Trump kept the lane open, kept the pressure on, and now J.D. Vance says some days more oil is moving through the strait than before the conflict. Prices came down. That's not chaos, that's called control. And the deeper stake is even bigger. Doug Burgum nailing it. A nuclear-armed Iran would mark the first time in world history that a terrorist regime willing to use a nuclear weapon had one. Barack Obama and Joe Biden fed the foreign policy class the fantasy that weakness buys stability. Donald Trump just crushed that fraud in real time. Force worked, Tehran blinked, and Doha happened. See, Doha and Hormuz are a reminder that when truth cuts through propaganda, results follow. I've seen that same principle with red light therapy after Jonathan Otto introduced me to it. I paid attention. I'd already seen Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson talk about serious health struggles, dramatic turnarounds, and light-based therapies with cellular-level impact. Gibson says the stuff works. In my family, constant discomfort and anxiety gave way to real restful sleep, improved recovery, and better energy. And the science matters too. NASA-backed research, FDA-cleared devices, red and near-infrared wavelengths for deeper penetration, plus PEMF mats, full-body coverage, and infrared heat that support circulation, reduce inflammation, and support recovery and sleep at home. An alternative to paid sessions. Go to myredlight.com, use NNN25 for individual items or NNN30 for bundles. I like results, not regime spin. Now here's the part the press buried because it wrecks their favorite soap opera. Axios pushed the chatter about J.D. Vance and Rubio like there was some split inside Trump world. Then Rubio went on camera and flattened it. Every single one of us is a line behind the President of the United States, lockstep. And one advisor put it even better. Vance and Rubio are different tools on a Swiss Army knife. And Trump decides which blades come out. I'm going to pull up the tweets. I'm going to show you why that detail matters so much. Trump team back at the table with Iran and Qatar. High-level talks underway in Doha as the U.S. pushes for denuclearization. Kushner and Witkoff representing the Trump administration. Trump says we're winning militarily. It's a denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. Talks back on track.
After a tense weekend threatened to put their peace deal at risk, Iran's president now saying his country will honor the agreement if the U.S. does the same. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Inks joins us live in Tel Aviv with the details. Trey.
Yeah, hey, Todd, good morning. High-level talks will take place today in Doha, Qatar, aimed at advancing the memorandum of understanding between the United States and Iran. U.S. Special Envoys Kushner and Witkoff will be in attendance and are expected to meet directly with the Qatari Prime Minister, according to a diplomat familiar with the talks. Technical talks about the MOU are then scheduled to take place on Wednesday.
The meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they've agreed to that, in all fairness.
Iranian officials have indicated that no direct talks will take place between the United States and Iran while in Doha, but did confirm that a delegation will be traveling to Qatar. The 60-day window is meant to iron out the details of Iran's nuclear program and keep the Strait of Hormuz open. President Trump has indicated he reserves both military and diplomatic options after that time period. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian posted to X saying mutual understanding is a two-way street. If the American side adheres to the agreement, we will also fulfill our commitments. Our approach approach to unreasonable saber rattling and baseless threats is to rely on rationality and human dignity in decision making, and to defend decisively and fearlessly when it comes time to act. Now, Iran.
So after Iran publicly postures and privately negotiates, the key point is simple. They came back to Doha because Trump has them on their heels. Bill Mitchell lays out why this isn't chaos or weakness, it's peace through strength, and it's what winning looks like. Well, the fake news media screams war. Trump's team is sitting down with Iran in Doha. Why? Because Iran asked for it. Iran asked. It's not weakness. It's an enemy who got humbled. The June 17th MOU is still holding. Deconfliction channels are open. Talks are on track, according to senior official. Yes, Iran's parliament is puffing its chest, claiming they govern the Strait of Hormuz. Cute. Shipping dropped from 100 ships a day to 39 after the strikes. Now it's climbing back. The world is already adjusting to a new reality where America calls the shots, not the Ayatollahs. And Trump's line is simple. No inspectors in these bomb nuclear sites. No more negotiations. That's leverage, not chaos. Fake news sees tit-for-tat, strikes, and calls it failure. What it actually is a 60-day window where Iran gets squeezed while still being handed an off-ramp. Carrot in one hand, hammer in the other. This is far from over. So that's the media lie in a nutshell. They scream war while Trump uses leverage next. Rubio shuts down the chatter about any split with Vance. It makes clear the whole team is moving lockstep behind Trump.
About this process.
Let's just put a fine point on this question. How wide is the divide between you and the vice president?
On what issue?
On any issue.
This administration, let me tell you something. Everyone here is aligned behind the President of the United States, every single one of us. The President of the United States makes the foreign policy of our country. And our job, we obviously give advice, we give counsel, we give opinions, but when the President of the United States is the one who is elected by the people of our country to conduct our foreign policy, the President makes these decisions, and all of us on his team, every single one of us works in lockstep very closely with one another to execute on the President's foreign policy. Everything we do is because the President's made a decision that it's going to be done. And one of the things I'm very proud of, I can't speak for every element of our government because I'm not involved in other aspects of our government, but one of the things that I'm the proudest of is that when it comes to foreign policy and national security, we have no drama, we have no games. We have a group of people that work very well together and closely to execute on the President's directives, which is why I think we've had good outcomes and good achievements, and we're going to continue to have good outcomes and good achievements. Everyone has an important role to play, and everyone is playing that role and doing it in a collaborative process. And I think that serves the President well, and I think that serves the country well.
Of course, two of them are you.
On the discussions with Iran, sir, as the country's...
So Rubio making it plain, no drama, no freelancing, no leaks driving policy. Mario Naval takes one step further, showing how Trump is using Vance and Rubio as two different tools in the same strategy. Trump is wielding Vance and Rubio like Swiss Army knife blades in his Iran endgame. Vance plays the dovish dealmaker. Rubio plays the hawk, keeping maximum pressure. The VP pushed the June 17th MOU and Lebanon ceasefire track to end war fast and steady the oil markets. Rubio stayed skeptical, squeezed Gulf allies, and locked in a tougher Israel-Lebanon deal demanding Hezbollah disarmament. The overlapping tracks confused everyone from Beirut to Jerusalem. Hezbollah called one dead on arrival. No knife fight inside the White House. Trump deliberately uses both tools. Peace if Iran wants it, war if it doesn't. So it's not a White House knife fight. It's Trump running both tracks on purpose, pressure, and diplomacy together. J.D. Vance backs it up with hard numbers, saying oil is already moving through the strait and prices are coming down. Here he is with Michael Knowles.
I think what the president has said is, let's let this play out. There are a few things that we want. We want durable commitments that are verifiable and backed up by inspections that Iran will denuclearize their entire country. Okay, we're going to see how we get there. Number two, we want to see what kind of an arrangement actually exists in the Middle East between not just Iran and the United States, but the GCC, Israel, Lebanon. We're going to play that situation out. And then on the Strait of Hormuz, I mean, I think you actually said it well, which is that the strait is open in the sense that to oil traffic, we're seeing more oil come out of the Strait of Hormuz. And some days, actually, more oil coming out of the strait than came out before the war even started. So there's this element of the, where the world oil economy is kind of getting back into gear. That's going to take a little bit of time, but you've already seen the prices come way down.
So that's the result. The swamp said couldn't happen. Strength first, market stabilizing after. But here's where the reality blows up Tehran's propaganda. In 8 words, he says they're wrong, and they know they are wrong.
They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspection. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
And Iran says there's no agreement to buy ag products.
From your view, Mr. President, when will those inspectors actually be on the ground? At the appropriate time. At the appropriate time. There's no rush, but they'll be on the ground at the appropriate time.
So Trump slamming the door on Iran, trying to rewrite the deal and made inspections non-negotiable. Now Secretary Burgum explains what's really at stake, keeping a terror regime from getting nukes while Trump drives oil back down and heads off a wider war.
Well, I think, again, when we take a look at the length of conflicts in history, this has been so short compared to others. And President Trump, as he's demonstrated just even a few weeks ago, if they're not willing to negotiate, he can go back to a different approach. Because, again, the key here, having a terror group, having a nuclear weapon, it's not really like a country. It's a terrorist group. Like a terrorist group would use that. And it'd be the first time in the world history where a terrorist group willing to use a nuclear weapon would have one. President Trump has basically averted World War III and got oil prices back down to where we were pre-conflict. I would just say that all of that's been masterful. And, of course, the U.S. economy looking very bright with lower taxes, lower regulation, record investment coming in terms of new job creation, manufacturing coming back, and the most secure and lowest energy prices in the world. It's another reason why people are moving manufacturing back to the U.S.
So the moral verdict, it lands right on that one exchange. Iran's regime tried to rewrite the terms through propaganda. Donald Trump didn't blink. He didn't send Antony Blinken out to mumble through a fog bank. He didn't let some anonymous senior official massage the lie. He said flatly, they're wrong and they know they're wrong. Then he added the kill shot. If they were right, he'd cancel the meetings immediately. That's command, and that's leverage created by force. Barack Obama, he built a fantasy on trust falls with Tehran. Joe Biden preserved the culture of weakness that told enemies America feared escalation more than they did. Trump reversed it. He hit the nuclear bluff, reopened the oil lane, and dragged the Ayatollahs into Doha under inspection demands that they can't spin away. So keep your eye on the details that the fake news machine keeps trying to bury. Doha, Qatar, a 60-day window, shipping that fell from 100 ships to 39 and then clawed back with some days now above pre-conflict levels. Trump's red line on inspectors, Rubio and Vance moving in lockstep as two blades in one America First toolkit. Those are not random facts. Those are the receipts. And Donald Trump didn't start the chaos. He cornered the chaos. He forced a terror regime to choose between full denuclearization and getting crushed by a president who means what he says. That's why the legacy press sounds panicked. Their whole catechism just cratered on live television. If you want more coverage that names the villains and keeps the pressure where it belongs, then send this segment to someone still trapped in the Obama-Biden fairy tale. And drop your take below. Keep watching this story with your guard up. Iran will lie again, and Trump should tighten the screws again. And make sure that you're getting the notifications when YouTube never sends them. Thousands of patriots have already texted the words raw feed to that number you see right there on your screen, 844-840-4963. We're bypassing the algorithm and going direct to you. A notification from me right to your phone every night with the news that matters so you can get caught up on all of the day's events. And make sure you're celebrating America's wins by going to the merch shelf below this video or shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.